Hello mathematicians, this is the video for home connections 41 and 42. Number 1, fill in missing numbers. 8 times 4 is 32, 6 times 5 is 30, 7 times 7 is 49, 6 times 8 is 48, 6 times 6 is 36. Second row, 8 times 7 is 56, 9 times 7 is 63, 5 times 5 is 25, 7 times 6 is 42, 8 times 9 is 72. Number 2, complete the multiplication tables below. They did the tables for timesing by 2, multiplying by 2. Letter A is multiplying by 10. 5 times 10 is 50, 2 times 10 is 20, 9 times 10, 3 times 10, 8 times 10, 6 times 10, 7 times 10, and 4 times 10. Remember, when you multiply by 10, a lot of people think just add a 0, which that's fine, but you can also think everything shifts one place to the left and then a 0 goes in that empty ones place. The next table is multiplying by 5, and each answer is going to be half of what it is here, because multiplying by 5 will give you an answer that's half as big as multiplying by 10. 5 times 5, 2 times 5, 9 times 5, 3 times 5, 8 times 5, 6 times 5, 7 times 5, and 4 times 5. And notice that all of the answers are half as big as the answers I have written in red. And letter C, multiplying by 9. 5 times 9 is 45. 2 times 9, 9 times 9, 3 times 9, 8 times 9, 6 times 9, 7 times 9, and 4 times 9. Number 3 says, use what you know about multiplying by 10 to help solve these problems. 12 times 10, a lot of people just think add a 0 to 12, or 12 shifts one place to the left and a 0 goes in the ones place. If you know what 12 times 10 is, 12 times 5 will be half of that. Again, if you know what 12 times 10 is, 12 times 9 would be the same thing as 12 times 10 minus one more group of 12. So if I had 120 minus 12, I would get 108. And 12 times 9 is 108. The next group of 3, I think there must be a typo here. It says 18 times 10, add a 0 to 18 and you get 180. And I can see that it's the exact same thing right there. I wonder if maybe they meant for it to be 18 times 9. Anyways, if you know what 18 times 10 is, 18 times 5 will be half of that. All right, on to Home Connections, page 42. Mrs. Larson was making gift bags for the 6 students in her reading group. She was putting little erasers in the bags. She had a bag of 20 erasers. How many erasers did each student get? So we are doing 20 erasers divided between 6 kids. Now, some people do a picture, and a picture is always a great idea. You could think of those 6 kids each having a bag, and I can imagine Mrs. Larson saying, one for you, 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 one for you. There's another one for each of my kids. There's another one for each of my kids. And I have 2 left. Obviously, you cannot split erasers into pieces and still have them be useful, so she probably would just give each kid 3 erasers, and there would be a remainder of 2. Okay? So I would probably say that the answer is 3 erasers, because those last remainder 2 erasers, she probably would just stick in her drawer. I could also see a kid saying, well, if each of the 6 kids got 1 eraser, that's 6 erasers. Well, what if Mrs. Larson gave each of the 6 kids 2 erasers? If Mrs. Larson gave each of the kids 3 erasers, if Mrs. Larson gave each of the kids 4 erasers, whoops, That's more erasers than she has. So 6 kids having 3 erasers apiece would work. 3 erasers would be 18 with 2 left over, but because the question says how many erasers did each student get, I would say 3 erasers would be a good answer to the question. Mathematically, the answer is 3 remainder 2, but because it's a story problem, I think 3 erasers is the best answer. Okay? Number 5. The teacher wanted his class to work in groups of 4. After he divided them into groups, there were 6 groups of 4. 6 groups with 4 kids each. That's 24 kids. And 1 group of 3. 1 group with 3 kids each. That's 3 kids. How many students were in the class? So 24 plus 3 kids would be 27 kids. 27 students. You could draw a picture as well. And finally, letter B for number 5. If the teacher wanted all the groups to be exactly the same size, how many students should be in each group? How many small groups would there be? Show all of your work. So I need to use this information, that there's 27 kids, to figure out how could I group kids if there were 27 in a class. If there were 24 in the class, there'd be tons of ways to group them. 12 groups of 2, because 12 times 2 is 24. 8 groups of 3, because 8 times 3 is 24. 6 groups of 4, because 6 times 4 is 24. But with 27, there are not as many factors of 27, so there's not as many ways to group them. I could do 1 group of 27 kids, or 27 groups of 1, which would just be working individually. I'm wondering if this 3 groups of 9 or 9 groups of 3. Because the factors of 27 are 1 times 27 and 3 times 9. Realistically, a teacher would probably say 3 groups of 9 kids or 9 groups of 3 kids. So I could see a teacher doing either one of those. Probably that's the one that teachers would use most often. A group of 9 kids would be pretty big, but groups of 3 always work out well. But I would say either of these answers would be appropriate, and that's because the factors of 27 tell me the only way to evenly split them up would be to do 1 giant group of 27, or working individually, 27 groups of 1, or 3 groups of 9, 9 groups of 3. And that's what I think they were looking for. All right, the answers for Home Connections 41. Oops, here we go. For 41. And 42. Okay, kids, I'll see you in class.